The season winds down in one sense, winds up in another as the playoffs arrive. All of our skills come to bear. One of the ways we improve our skills is we develop understanding of plays, adjudication, etc., so that we can get plays right. And we're doing that today. 5 plays. Stick around. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Greg Austin with a Better Official. We're looking at plays today. We're looking at our first play today, a you make the call play. Is it a 9-3-3 play? Yeah, it is. Let's take a look. All right, player voluntarily leaves the court, returns to the court. The official rules a violation. Is that what you have on this play? Put your ruling down in the comments and stick around to the end of the video. You know we'll look at all of the things on play number 1. All right, moving on. All right, the old push through the screenplay, scoring the goal. Ultimately, something's not working here. Hold on. Okay, the old push through the screenplay. We're scoring the goal. Player goes to the line, right? So 3 points goes to the line, makes 4 points, gets fouled shooting a three-pointer on the rebound, 3 more points, a 7-point swing. Wow. So we've seen it. We've seen it. We know it can happen. But of course, if we look at the original play, the push through the screen, right? This is really challenging. I'm officiating this. You're officiating that. Had the player begun their habitual throwing motion in this instance when the foul occurs? I don't think so. I think we get this play wrong, right? It's a high communication play. I think, here's my counsel. On plays like this, the player did not get the play off in time, or get the shot off in they had not begun their motion prior to the foul, unless you're sure they had begun their, that's our default. Prove me wrong. Yes, no, definitely he had begun. Yeah. What are you doing fouling the three-point shooter? So, a situation where we can have more communication than we did in this instance. Our lead takes it upon himself. He says, we're scoring that goal, right? I have all the information I need. If you're the trail and you're picking up the shooter, but you're also aware of the defender here. Let's take a look. Right. The foul occurs here just as the player's receiving the basketball. They have not yet begun their habitual throwing motion. They have a quick release, right? But the foul has already occurred here. Now, you may be aware of this as the trail official here, right? And you could come to your partner. Just because we've signaled the goal doesn't mean we can't fix it, right? We can get this play right as a crew. I'd be receptive to communication if my trail had something different. Partner, no, right? I know you've signaled, but no, right? So that's something we could have on this. We do a good job of getting our shooter, right? There can be confusion. Who set the screen, etc. But we get our shooter here. They are in the bonus. He gets 2 tries, etc. And then ultimately we get the wild 7-point play. So good to see in the wild, to see that play. Always on push through screen plays need to be high communication as a crew so that we can get the play right. So if we got this play right, we're not scoring the 3-point goal and he just gets the 2 free throws. Maybe it would have worked out the same with the ultimate foul on the 3-pointer. But again, as the season grows nigh and games are making these decisions are critical, we need to get plays right and be ready to communicate in order to make that happen. Technical foul assessed to the coach. It was his own team that he interrupted. Come on now. Head coach interferes with the basketball, right? This was not a ball's coming out of bounds and the coach catches it because nobody else could catch it, right? The coach interfered with the game here by extending his arms over. This is just a take care of business technical foul. Even though his team was disadvantaged, the other team would have got the ball. The coach is confused. What? Right? This is you've interfered with the game. That is a technical foul. Simple, straightforward, right? The challenging plays that it can occur in this situation is the ball is bouncing towards the coach. Somebody's trying to get the basketball maybe, and the coach, it interferes them. Was it a catchable ball? Would they have gotten there, etc.? The coach was just reacting. But this is easy. This is easy. It's just business, man. You have interfered with the basketball during the game. You have interfered with a live ball. This is a technical foul on the head coach. Yes, you have lost your privilege to stand and coach your team. Yes, I hope you hadn't had a previous technical foul because you're on the bus. Oh, so coach technical, just business, man. It's just business. It was inadvertent. Yes, it was. Sorry, coach. Unlucky. Hey, if this is the video content that you find valuable as a basketball official, do me a solid and hit the like button right now. Thanks. There it is in the wild, the old held ball, kicked ball on the resulting throw in. We go to the other end, held ball. We award, since obviously there is no change of the possession arrow on this play, it's going to be a high communication play. People are confused, especially when everything happens in close proximity, time-wise, right? The original throw-in was for a held ball. During the throw-in, the defender kicked the ball. The throw-in has not ended by rule because the touching by the defender was not a legal touching. The clock should not have started. Whether we fix that or not is not important on the play, but the resulting throw-in is for the kicked ball. So we have not completed a throw-in using the possession arrow. The possession arrow is switched when the throw-in ends. The throw-in has never ended. Thus, the arrow is not switched. We try in this situation to communicate so that everybody knows, but in the end, there's confusion, right? The coach, the offended coach what you're giving it to him, you just gave it to him. You just gave him the ball, right? Which is natural. They don't know the rules. I don't want to, be too much of a shock here and break it to you. Coaches don't know the rules in all situations. Let's put it that way. And many officials are not going to get this play right as well. This is a unique situation. The fact that it happened, right? Imagine that we didn't have our next held ball for 5 minutes of real time. And then there's confusion, right? We try to nip it in the bud if we can. We can't always. But this is correctly ruled. We have seen it in the wild. It's great to get these plays so we can catalog them visually so that when they occur in our game, right, recognizing we have an AP throw-in, right, and if there's a foul during the throw-in, or there's a kick ball during the throw-in, or before, there's a foul before the throw-in is ended, there is a kick ball, which is, defenders often, try to kick the ball on a bounce pass from a throw-in, right? So we see it in the wild. We recognize, hey, Hey, we need to be we're communicating to our table. Hey, this throw in is not using the arrow. We are not switching the arrow here. And then we have the throw in, right? Important to do that. But despite our best efforts, there's going to be confusion and it's going to be a high communication situation. All right, we've avoided fights on this season. Fights just never good in our game. What can we learn when we see a fight occur in somebody else's game, right? Because in the moment, all heck breaks loose and we are left to our own devices, etc. We want to have habits and fundamentals, right? So first of all, on this play, if we look at our lead and what ultimately ignites this fight, let's see. Right? Shot goes up, and a player in white pushes a player on the visitors in the back. Player in the visitors does not appreciate this. Obviously, something's been brewing at this point. But if we are officiating players in our primary, and we see that's the push we should see, and when that body language of retaliatory comes at her, if we could get it right there, we can nip it, whistles, hard whistles, etc. We may be able to stop this. No, I don't want you. And then these players are not unfamiliar with the concept of fighting. That is clear. What a punch. And then no, oh man. Our center official, oblivious, gets alerted by the coach, and their first reaction is to run right into the fire, right? Is it our job to put hands on these players? Is it our job to separate these players? Or is it our job to try to encourage others to do that, right? If we put hands on players, we are at risk. We are at risk, right? Let's see what we get. But we're human beings. Oh, I want to stop that. I want to stop that, right? And then, of course, we have our new lead on the play. Does their job. Does their job. Stay there, right? Are we disadvantaging one team because they all ran on and we weren't able to prevent them from running on? That's just the way it is, man. That's just the way it is, right? He's trying to identify. You got players with shooting shirts on, not always easy, right? Ultimately, we're going to have to adjudicate how to resume the game after this play as well. So what do we have? We have two players participating in a fight. We have players leaving the bench from one team and not from the other. I don't believe, right? We have those two players participating. When is a whistle blown? Are we scoring a goal? Is anybody from white leaving the bench that's not an adult? We got this one possibly younger person in red. If they were a team member, they would be disqualified by rule. Every team member who left the bench for the visitors would be disqualified by rule. How do we resume the game? Let's say we had 1 from white and 6 from black, if it's black, right? How do we resume the game? There will be free throws shot, right? When we have a discrepancy, we have both teams had players leave the bench, let's say, and we have a discrepancy, right? There was 6 and 1. Are we going to shoot like 5 technical fouls, 10 free throws? No, maximum of 2 in this situation. So how would we resume the game? We would have white shoot 2 free throws and be awarded the ball, division line throw in. Obviously, the 2 players fighting are disqualified for fighting, and they will be ejected. No, they're not ejected. They're disqualified by rule for fighting. These players are disqualified. They are sent to the bench. You may no longer participate. If the coach says, you need to get out of here, assistant coach, take her to the locker room, that's fine. That's on them to do that, right? That is not our job, man. We are not sending them out into the hallway where the mom for the player for white wants to have a word and like gets into it in the hallway, right? We got to be smart about that. So identify here, if we get the first action, maybe we could stop, but not always. When we find out there's a fight, we don't run into the fire. We don't run into the fire. We have to do our job here. Our job is to try to facilitate others putting hands on players, pulling them apart, etc. And then also we have to identify how many players left the bench so that we can resume the game by properly adjudicating the situation. Hey, back at the start of the show, we had that you make the call play. Let's take a look back at play number 1. All right, team running an action where they send players from opposite sides of the court. They cross under the basket. One of the players steps out of bounds. Official indicates a delayed violation possibility. Player is the first to receive the basketball, and the official rules a violation. What's really important about this play is to understand this is why they changed the rule. This play right here, right? This player did not avoid going out of bounds and stepped out of bounds, but it has no impact on the play. So a couple of years ago, NFHS said, why are we penalizing players in this instance? Let's change the rule so that when they intentionally go out of bounds to gain an advantage and then gain that advantage and are the first to touch the basketball, then it will be a violation. Okay? Really critical to understand that, right? We have case play. And so many officials take the rule at face value. This player, whether they intentionally went out of bounds, they ended up going out of bounds. They didn't avoid going out of bounds. They were not intentional, maybe, but they didn't avoid, and they went out of bounds. And then they returned to the court, and they were the first to touch. Left voluntarily, first to touch, that's a violation. And many, I think, training across associations has reinforced this. This is not the purpose of the rules change. This is why the rule was changed. So important to understand that, right? So let's look at the case play involved here as well. A1 and A2 set a double screen near the end line. A3 intentionally goes out of bounds outside the end line to have the defender detained by the double screen. This case play refers to a team intentionally creating a situation where the going out of bounds will gain an advantage. C, A4 continues to dribble the ball while B3 recovers defensively on A3. A3 continues to cut to get open and receives a pass. So even after all of this behavior has taken place, they still pass the ball, right? They set a double screen to gain an advantage. Player goes out of bounds to gain an advantage. The player then returns to the court and is ultimately the first to touch the basketball or the next to touch the basketball, and it's a legal play. Why? Because no advantage was gained. It's critical to understand that with these 9-3-3 plays. If you get hung up on, well, they left the court, they were the first to touch, violation. That's the way it used to be. And the change was made to try to eliminate these interpretations of that rule. We've had so many of these this season that understanding this rule is critically important. And we have to be better, man. Our training has to be better. Yeah, that's what I have on that. That was a long... what a rant. What a rant. Sorry, Darwin, we are already painted in green. Yeah, we all know this. Hey, Umar, good to see you. Who doesn't love a little palate cleanser, game-winning basket, excitement reigns? Except this is not a palate cleanser. This is a situation where we have made some mistakes as a crew, right? Last second shot, 1 point game. We want to call the obvious, but we want to be aware of the things, all of the things that could occur in this situation. First of all, our team that is leading has 2 team fouls. There's a limited amount of time remaining in the game. In this situation, we may have the team attempt to take a take foul. Take fouls are a part of the game. They are accepted strategy. They are allowed. Right? If they inbound the ball and we have a take foul, what's the result? Out of bounds throw in. The clock has run. They do it again. We have another foul to give. The foul to give. Right? They come out. This is their strategy here. Right? We have a thrower. Right? Player gets the ball. Take foul. No call. Heave for the basket. 3-point goal, right? Has this team in white been wronged? Yes, they have. They fouled. They expected a whistle to be blown. The officials were not aware of this strategy occurring or ignored the fact that these take fouls occurred. Was there anything else on this play that was missed? Let's take a tragic look, right? Our crew is in good position, right? Our trail official is officiating off ball as there is no defense being played on our thrower. Our thrower appears to step onto the court. This is a throw-in violation. Ball should have been awarded to the white team in this instance. Ball is thrown in. Defender, take foul, not called. White 4, take foul, not called. Player steps. Where did they step? Where did our shooter step prior to releasing the throw? This is a backcourt violation by rule. Ball should have been awarded to white in this instance. So we have missed 2 violations and we have ignored 2 take fouls. Now, why would we ignore 2 take fouls in this situation? It's not being aware that this is a strategy that teams can employ. We have to be aware of what teams are trying to do. If this was the defense and they had to get to bonus, what do we call? The first light touch, right? Give them the foul that they want. Intentionally taking a take foul is accepted practice by rule. We just have to be aware of these things in games, that it may be a strategy used by the team that is ahead. So we have let our teams down in this situation. We have missed 2 calls that would have affected the outcome of the game, missed 2 take fouls that would have affected the outcome of the game potentially. And that's not what we want in critical games. We want to be our best. I'll tell you who is the best, and that is our tremendous show supporters. I want to shout them out today. Much appreciated, much love. If you've found content valuable during this season, we have one more show. I'll put a link up above. And we have additional video content that you can take advantage of here, and we'll see you, yes, in the very next video. Take care, everybody.